There's the first.
I just all these beautiful ladies and me. Right, okay. First thing first. Let's get up. I've got a few slides. Bum, bum, bum. Share screen. Okay. Let's move the beautiful ladies out the way. He says. Right. Okay. So welcome. Right. This is what I am using to track everybody on a weekly basis, and I'm using the figures that I get off the GSA. All right, but I need initially for you to give me your targets. Okay, and each from next Monday they'll all be updated as from the GSA. Okay, so Roger's got a retail target of 1,200 and a sponsoring target of 5 with 3 activations. An activation is simply somebody who's joined who's placed an order. Esther was going to have a rethink on your figures, yeah? Have you had a rethink?
I have, yeah.
And?
I'm still not going to recruit this month.
Right.
And 400 for the retail.
Okay. Any reason you're not going to do any recruiting?
Yeah, because I need to sort myself out first, I think.
Okay. Just don't want you to miss out on the biggest recruitment period, which is between now and Easter.
Right, okay.
Right. David has got 1,400 with 4 sponsoring and 4 activations. Kez, 1,000 with 3 and 1. Joanna, have you got a retail target as a sponsoring target?
Oh, shut up. That's you.
I do. I have a retail target, a minimum of 150, bare minimum. 1 activation and 1 recruitment.
Okay.
No, sorry, 2 recruitments.
Okay. Any reason that the retail is so low?
Just to start bit by bit.
Yeah, I had this conversation with Esther the other day. The thing is that you're going to set yourself up with a very low figure. You're not going to have the money to be able to invest in your business. When we started, our first 2 weeks, we did 453 quid alongside 2 jobs. And we signed in 8 people based on that. As we're trying to set a leadership, you probably want to rethink maybe your retail targets, because you see about duplication, but at the end of the day, it's your business. But we're aiming to be leaders and showing by example. Okay, we've set ourselves a target of 500. We don't do a lot of retail, but we're doing 500. But we're aiming to sponsor 10. And we've already sponsored 1. Okay. Roger has come on. Well done, Roger. 1,200, 5 and 3. So that's what I'm going to be tracking anyway. And obviously, this is the starting of a curve. All right. What I'm not going to do is force people to do something they're not happy with. Because at the end of it, it's your business. But what I want to do, and I had this conversation with Dave yesterday, we want to be bringing people into the business and then getting some of those people into the leadership groups, and they're going to be seeing what your plans are. And if you have very low plans, yeah, people copy what they see. If that makes sense. All right. So it should, it's like us. We've got low retail, 500 quid. We think that's low, but we've got a high sponsoring target. And our activations, I am putting activations. My activations will be 6.
Mm-hmm.
Is that your aim for this period coming?
That's for this period 3. It says it's at the top there, yeah.
Yeah, Beyond 3, yeah.
Okay. All right. I just want to share that with you. Okay. The thing is, when people see this business, sometimes what they see and what you see is not what it seems. For instance, from far off, that could appear to be a face, but it's not.
It's nice, that picture, actually, yeah.
And that's what cleaning is. People see it's not just see it's the catalogue business, but they don't realise. Oh, sorry, they see it as a retail business, a catalogue, but they don't see it as a career. All right, you with me? So our job, well, got one more, I think. That's a picture of Sharon when she was younger. Yeah, okay. So say most people see a retail business and not understand the benefits of leverage. Because if you, like I say, Esther's got a figure of 400, which is great, but if she has 5 people doing 400, that's suddenly 2,000. Yeah. If they all have 4 people doing 400, suddenly it's nearly 8,000. It's all about lots of numbers. So it's our job to educate our team and then lead them by example. Okay, so we need to have a plan. We discussed this last week. It's important to have a plan. Plans don't always go right. Sometimes we do more than we expected. But if you don't have a thing you're going to achieve, then you've got nothing to aim for. Then share it with your mentor. Okay. And then we need to track it, which is what I'm aiming to try and do with you all.
Yeah, because that's amazing.
When I started working for a company called Office World many years ago, they opened up a store in Reading. That was their first store. And they had a plan. All right. They opened up, their second store was in Nottingham. Their third store was in Northampton. Then they opened up a store which I took over, which is Leicester. Then they opened up another one in another store that was in Slough, and then we opened up one in Sheffield, which I opened up again. And then we started to diverge out different places, Coventry, and so forth. Swindon, Bristol, Manchester, Chester, Peterborough, and so on. As you can see, more and more stores starting to open. And you can see each of them has a radius of, say, 25 miles. So they would cover a 25-mile radius. Yeah, and by having a plan and putting stores in certain areas, eventually they would cover a majority of the UK. But this was the real plan they were using. They were using the motorway structure. So when they started building, they were building along the motorways. Yeah. For instance, Leicester, Northampton, Sheffield, Nottingham, Luton were all up the motorway, M1. And then across the M60 and M5. So this is what we have to do, is have a plan and a structure for the thinking behind the plan. So what I say to people is pick an area. And I say within a 40-mile radius of your home. Because what that means is that you can actually, with a 40-mile radius from where you live, you can build a big business and you can actually meet up with people, etc., etc. Spreading yourself too thin, and we had this conversation the other day with Roger, where we were talking about being in so many different groups. You cannot belong to all the groups in all the area of the UK. But what you can do is pick an area and belong to all the groups in those areas. So that when you have a new person join, you can instantly add them to loads of groups. Okay. Otherwise, you're just creating yourself lots and lots and lots of extra work. And then we need to recruit, set up and train until competent. Now, that might be days. It might be weeks. But with the 10-step system, it can literally be days. We've just signed in a lady today, Yasmin. And and she's already up to step 6 on the getting started. We've got a group set up, blah, blah, blah. I've done another interview today with another girl, Terrell, and he's joining on Friday, etc., etc. So you just need to understand, in the early days, it's important that you are in touch with your new team members. And it's also critical that both yourself and your team members are coachable. In the training, with the script manual, when somebody wants to join, we go through a commitment with them. Before we go ahead again, can you tell me what is it you'd like to achieve with this business? So reaffirming what they'd like to achieve after they've heard what the business can do for them. It's important I make you aware the only way you will achieve, whatever their reasons are, is by following the system we teach. That's retailing effectively, either online and or through catalogues, attending the webinars weekly, and if possible, attending your workshop. Are you willing to do that? Okay. And if they're not willing to do that, then I don't sign them in. Right? That's how you've got to, because otherwise you're just wasting your time. If they're not going to retail, how are they going to make any money? You all have children, yeah, and husbands, and other men you have to worship, like me. But basically, you could spend time with those you love or your team members. You don't want to spend wasted time with team members. In this book,
Was it
it's loads of different things, the basics or the 45-second presentation, etc. It tells you about launching ships, that every person that joins your team is a ship, and you launch it off, and it's going to come back either laden with gold or it's going to come back empty. Your job is to give everybody the opportunity to come back laden with gold, right? But you don't want to be on any empty ships when it goes down. So this is the book that we're going to study from as well. Kez and Dave has now got a copy. Has anybody else got a copy, or do they need a copy?
So, hang on, which book is that one?
45-second presentation, or the basics, you might call it.
Yeah, I do have a copy.
I'll have to have a
45-second presentation.
Where do you get that?
From Amazon.
Pardon?
They're really affordable from Amazon.
Sorry, I didn't say that, Joe.
They're good price in Amazon.
Yeah, it's available. Usually you can pick it up for £1 or £2. As I say, if you're local, then I've got a number of copies. However, you can't have this one because it's signed by the authors. So I have got a few copies here if people want one.
Emma needs.
Pardon?
Excuse me. Price the postage, and I'll pay the postage for my copy.
I can get you one sent over. Don't worry about it.
I'll pay the postage.
That's right. I'll get one sent over to you.
Yeah.
All right. So we need to be coachable. We need to know the system. We're all about duplication. So once again, I was talking, and I spoke to Dave and said, "Are you okay with me talking about this?" When you're signing some people, close the door. Baby's having a bath, doesn't like it, screaming their head off. Basically, some people, he was assuming they knew more than they did. Yeah, and wasn't treating every person exactly the same. We have to treat everybody exactly the same. In other words, you have to go. I was always taught as retail manager, my store is only as good as the weakest member of staff. That makes sense. So I had to bring all my staff up to a certain level. Yeah. It's the same with a new team member. You assume they know nothing. For instance, I worked for Wilkinson's Home and Garden stores for many a year, and if I just turned up at Office World and they said to me, "Right, you know how to operate a till?" Well, yeah, I've done it at Wilkinson's, and I did it there that way. I probably wouldn't work because I have a different till system. So we have to disassociate them with any of their previous experiences. and teach them from scratch. Right? So why do we need a system? Well, first of all, it gives everybody a route map to success. It's important they understand that if they don't follow the system, I can't help them. Bob Webb is the biggest earner in the company, and yet somebody came up to him one day and says, "Oh, I like the way that Tony Briffa does his warm marketing and that and his system." He says, "Can we do that?" I said, "Well, you can do whatever you like, but don't come back to me to ask me for help." And he says, "Why not?" He says, "Because I don't run Tony Briffa's system. I run Bob Webb's system. I can't train you on a system I don't know." I mean, we've got somebody in the group at the moment, I'm not going to name names, but somebody in the group at the moment is actually offering to pay for people to start up.
Yeah.
All right. Who here would do that? Would any of you actually pay people to join or pay their registration for them?
I mean,
No.
most people wouldn't. No.
No, because it's not duplicable and it's not the right way of doing it. You know, you want people who actually want to join. Now, the reason we have a system also is it gives distributors confidence. They know where to look for answers. If you know we're not around, they can look for it. You say, we need to help people build confidence because some people have a lack of self-esteem, maybe a lack of self-belief, and that might be reflected in your own personal retail figures or your retail targets or your sponsoring targets that you don't believe you can achieve anything. When I ran the tally sales at Leicester, because I ran tally sales for the North, for Office World, Terry Nicholson came into me and said, "Right, I need X amount of new phone calls every day." All right. And which I think it was, he said, "I need each member of staff to ring 10 new customers every day." So he walked into the telesales and said, "What a great job you're all doing." He said, "I'm setting you all a new target. I need you to ring 15 new people every day." Okay, I heard that. We got out of the office and I said to him, "Terry, you told me they want to ring 10. He says, "Yes. But if I tell them I want 15, I'm probably going to get 10. That makes sense. Because if he says I want 10, I might get 8. Yeah, because people don't always. Because if you shoot for the moon, you'll at least end up in the stars. You need to push yourself beyond, not be in your comfort zone. And it's too easy to say, "I'm going to do a figure I know I can achieve." You're not pushing yourself, and you're not helping yourself grow. Right? We're there to help you, and the whole idea is push yourself. And if you fall short, that's great, because we can then reassess what needs to be done to try and help you move on. Peter and Jackie White set themselves a target to earn £10,000 a month by a certain date. And on that date, they earned £9,800, I think it was. So they failed their goal. But they got close. Now, who here would like to earn £9,800 in a month?
Yeah.
But if they hadn't had the goal of 10,000, they wouldn't have been pushing for it, would they? We made a big mistake. We set ourselves a goal for 2,000 a month. Okay? And we got there within 12 months. But then we hadn't set any further goals beyond that. If I'd have set myself a goal of £5,000 a month, we'd have pushed on. That makes sense? But then we plateaued, we relaxed. We hadn't pushed ourselves far enough. All right? People will say to people, "You can't do that, you're not capable," etc. We used to do face-to-face appointments, and I've sat down with an 18-year-old lad, and his mum was in the room, and all the way through she says, "He can't do that, he can't do this, he can't do it, he's not capable of doing that." How the hell is that guy ever going to achieve anything with that sort of level of support?
Not much.
Or not, okay? I tell people, while you don't have belief in yourself, I'll have belief in you until you have that belief in yourself. But until you achieve something that you didn't think you were going to achieve, in other words, you keep playing it safe, you are never going to have self-belief. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to be harsh.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, that applies not just to this business, but other things as well.
Yeah. You need, if it was that easy to do, if everybody would be earning 10,000 a month, wouldn't they?
Oh, yeah. We would, yeah.
People who are building that 10,000 mile aren't necessarily, it isn't difficult, it's just that they push themselves a bit more. Okay. If we help people feel good about themselves by giving them praise, because a person who feels good about themselves will get better results. Our job in the first 90 days of a new distributor is to develop their self-esteem, self-confidence and belief. And we do that with our system and coaching. And most people don't get recognition for their achievements. So we need to use their timeline on Facebook to give them praise, give them help, etc. All right? All right. As I said, we need a system to give a route map to success, give distributor confidence, but it also gives sponsors more confidence to be able to build a business, because they know that you can be a directional post. You don't need to know everything. It's like Henry Ford. I don't know if you know the story of Henry Ford.
Yeah, I think
basically he had a series of buttons on his desk because he actually got taken to the government questioned his ability to do certain things, and the people came into his office and asked him a question, and then he'd press a button and somebody would come in and answer the question. And so, well, why don't you know? He said, I don't need to know. I pay people to know these things. I concentrate on this, and then I have people who know how to do this, how to do that, how to do the other. I don't need to know how to put a car engine together to be able to put a car engine together. That makes sense? It's like me. I can drive a car. I don't need to know how it works, but I can drive a car. You don't need to know fully how the system works. You just need to follow the system without question and have confidence in the system and have confidence in yourself. Because if one person can earn £3,000 a month from following the system, so can you. And it enables duplication. And that's what it's all about. The whole thing is, if you introduce somebody and they're capable of building a team because they follow the system and we don't do anything that's not in the system, then they have confidence the system works, and that new person will then also follow it on. Are you with me? And duplication will provide you a residual income. Without that, you'll be working for it every day in your life. So what we want to do is build 4 levels deep, because what that provides for you is security. If you've got 4 levels deep in your business, you've got somebody who's sponsored somebody, and therefore you know that it's going to grow whether you're around or not. You need width to give you initial income, and you need depth for long-term income. So the first goal is for us to all get 10 to 15 people as quickly as possible. I don't know if you saw the story that David Beasley posted.
No, is it about that guy who got £700 or something?
Somebody joined the business last month and signed in 26 people in their first month and went gold. How much do you think they knew about the business when they've just joined?
Probably
They know a lot. They only just joined, but yet they signed 26 people in. Because they know the system will do the training for them. So you hold yourself back for what? I don't understand, There's Andy. Andy sponsors B, whoever they is. For instance, I've just signed in Yasmin. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we've signed in Yasmin, and I'm going to teach Yasmin how to sponsor somebody else. Right? But then I'm going to teach Yasmin how to teach the new person how to sponsor another person. When that's completed, that cycle, I can step away because Yasmin is going to teach somebody how to teach somebody to sponsor. And the business will grow without you. But you need to get those rocks in your pool to start off with. That makes sense? That's why we've set ourselves a target of signing in 10 this period. That creates momentum. if you saw Claire Kinsella, 141 people joined her business this month. 141 joined her business. And yet we've got people who say they want to sign one in. Yeah. There are people out there wanting to join our business. It's proven by the sponsoring numbers. And the thing is, and this, I had this conversation once again with Dave yesterday, we were talking about things. Even if you're not ready to sponsor or you don't want to push yourself out there, but somebody's looking for work, they're not going to wait till you're ready. They're going to join somebody. Aren't they, Roger?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You had that scenario the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, it just happened more or less at the same time. Yeah, and I spoke to a lady actually that she didn't even speak to the person. She saw an advert in Indeed.com. Yeah, and she filled in a form and signed in.
Yeah,
and
join somebody else. I'm going to cut you short. It's just that we only have limited time.
Yeah, that's right.
But basically, he came into his contacts manager on the 4th. By the time he got to speak to her on the 8th, she'd already joined somebody else. So it's a matter of, there are people out there looking. You're in Colville, Esther.
Yeah.
How many people in Loughborough at Brush are going to lose their jobs?
Thousands.
Yeah. And yet you're not going to sponsor from all that potential pool of people. Because they're all going to be looking for jobs, aren't they?
Yeah.
You with me? I'm not trying to pick on you or anything. I'm just trying to open your mind up that there are people out there that are looking for jobs now. Yeah. This week's half term. Yeah, in most places. Is it half term all over the place?
No, summer next week.
Okay. But there are people out there at home with kids that if they had a job, they'd have a problem this week, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Because
they've got to find childcare. We've got something they offer. They can work from home. Right. We've got loads of opportunities out there. It's important that you understand your ratios. This is another reason I'm doing this tracking. Okay. Because without understanding your ratios, you cannot plan backwards from where you are today to where you want to be. So here's a simple plan based on my ratios. Okay. Right. So the statement is, I want to be a gold distributor. To become a gold distributor, you need a personal sales group of around 10,000. Okay. That's a number at £10,000 being done in your own personal selling group, not selling group, personal sales group, which is all the people that introduce you into your business. If the average distributor does £500, I would need 20 distributors, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Therefore, I need to recruit 20 distributors. Now, that's not all personally, but I need within my group to have 20 new people join at an average of £500. So, by knowing your ratios, I know that 1 in 9 people I present to will join. Okay? Some people will join further on, some people won't join, but it doesn't make a difference. But this is all about a face-to-face appointment when we just, okay? Therefore, I need to present the business 180 times to get 20 people. Yep. Notice I'm only interested in getting 20 people. It doesn't matter about the 160 no's, does it? My goal is 20, not the 160 that say, no, I'm not going to join. We know that out of every 9 out of every 15 people we book into an appointment will attend. So if I book in 15 appointments, I know I'll only speak to 9 of them. Because 6 of them won't be able to get hold of. 6 of them will change their mind or whatever else. That makes sense? So therefore, I need to book 15 appointments to see 9 people. I know that I need 20 leads to enable me to book 15 appointments. And we know this by tracking our business. Therefore, I need to have 20 leads to book 15 appointments. If I have 4 leads a day coming in, that's my goal. Yeah. So therefore, I'll have 20 appointments in a week, 20 leads in a week rather, which will give me 15 interviews, which will give me 9 actual seeing, which means I'll get 1 signing in. Okay. All I need to do is do as much activity as it takes to get the phone ringing 4 times a day. And the result is within 90 days, I'll be gold. Does that make sense to you? That's an actual plan. So you know the figures, you need to do what needs to be done to get what you need to get. Like let's say on retail, in the presentation, we say, all we're looking for is 20 customers at an average of £12.50 a customer. That's it. 4 customers a day. Now, how do we get people? I'm not going to go this in massive detail because we've only got 6 minutes left. But first one is warm market, people we know. We don't ask them directly. We say to them, do they know anybody who might be looking for some extra income? The second, the warm list. So you make sure that everybody on your warm list knows that you're recruiting. The second one is the 3-foot rule. That's we bump into people. We say, oh, I'm glad I saw you. I don't know if you know, I'm now working from home. And I'm asking all my friends if they know of anybody that might be interested in making some extra money. Or if you just bump into them, like I took Katie. You know, any of you know Kate?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, she's Georgina's sponsor. Okay. We went into McDonald's, and you know a thing about it says, "I'm loving it." We used to have that saying, "I'm loving it." So we went to McDonald's early in the morning, and this girl's behind the counter, and she's serving us. And I just said to her, "It doesn't look like you're loving it." And she said, "Oh, I'm not. I'm blah, 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 blah." She started whinging and moaning. I said, "Look, I might be out of order here." She says, "But I'm looking for some good people who would like to work and some extra money working from home. Would that have interest you at all?" And I got their details. She didn't actually join, but you're with me. Just talking to people I bump into. Customers. The customers like the products. Okay. And if they like the products, they're more likely to recommend the business to other people as well, aren't they? So you turn around to your customer and say, look, we're recruiting all over the UK. It doesn't matter whether they're 90, they'll have grandchildren, wherever. You know, we're on a recruiting campaign at the moment. If you know of anybody who might be interested in making some extra money, either doing catalogues or working online, would you please pass on my details? Business cards. I responded to a business card. Okay. Sort of business cards you could have. Want to get out of the rat race, if you like the potential to earn more in a month than most people earn in a year, you put your website. Or this is the one I responded to. Excuse the unusual approach. I'm looking for quality people to fill executive positions that pay over 30 grand per annum, full-time, part-time, and a website again. Right? That's what I was looking. That's what appealed to me. Different people would appeal to different things. Referrals. Somebody's not interested. Ask them, do you know of anybody who might be interested? Could I post an advert on your timeline? How many of you have actually asked somebody you've interviewed, is it okay if I post an advert on your, you're not interested at the moment, is it okay if I put an advert on your timeline? Have you done that?
Mm-hmm.
What's the worst that can happen?
They say no.
They say no. Which is, if you don't ask them, it's the same answer, isn't it? But if they say yes, and they've got 3,000 friends, yeah, how much time has that cost you? Nothing. Flyers. We put flyers through letterboxes. And we use things like this. Want an extra income, prepared to work for 6 to 10 hours a week, flexible hours for an extra, for more information, blah, blah, blah. Find more serious people. You might put wanted, hard-working people, not the sitting down type, to expand the simple business in your area. Full-time, part-time, flexible hours. What you want to do is flood your area with leaflets, flyers, so that if anybody's going to join Clean Easy, they're going to in your area, they're going to join with you.
Is that the kind of advert you put in the letterboxes, the one you just shown?
Yeah, that's leaflets and flyers. Okay. Then you have shop cards. Put them on the shop cards. Paying off those Christmas bills we urgently require. Full-time, part-time, over 18s. Guess what? People have just had their credit card bills from Christmas. Yeah.
And you only put your website at the bottom of it, no phone number.
I don't want to speak to them. I want them to see the information. Because otherwise you could be speaking to a lot of people who aren't interested. I want them to go onto the website, put in their details on my contact manager, so in the future I can email them again. Okay. Newspaper adverts, something that we're looking at. We used to do it a lot. We're going to start doing it again. By the way, I'd like to know if anybody might be interested in getting involved in a syndicate. We don't, military wives and that have approached me to put an advert in their monthly or quarterly magazine advertising Clean Easy. We would be the only people, because their husbands can be away all the time, and they've got kids on camp, and they're looking for working from home. And I'm getting some information at the moment about going in their thing. Where do we add? Local papers, job night. And so I'm not going to go through all this now because I'm less than a minute. Okay. So loads of different adverts. I'm not going to put these up because it's all recorded and you can watch it through again. There's posters we put out. Okay. So there's lots of different ways we can recruit. It's like the contact manager you need to have a contact manager. If you haven't got one, you need to get one. I said to David the other day about contact manager, and I say, well, if somebody can't afford it for whatever reason, all they have to do is retail an extra 100 quid. An extra 100 quid will pay.
So your first 3 months is free.
It's free for the first 3 months.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
So they get free for the first 3 months.